Oh dear, speechless.
Really? Yes.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Look at it gleaming in the gleam of gold there.
This is actually a brooch, but it broke, so I use it as a necklace, but I will have it repaired one day.
It's worth it, I think. They're rather fascinating, aren't they? Were they your great-grandmothers?
They were my great-grandmothers, yes, and came down to me.
From Germany?
From Germany, yes.
But I think what's significant about this jewellery is that it's made of filigree and granulation.
Yeah.
Which is typical of all types of folk jewellery, from the Mediterranean up to the North Countries in Denmark and Scandinavia. The bracelet itself is a later addition because the colour of the gold is different and the phrasing of the metal.
Yeah, I wondered why.
And yet there are holes here for stitching, or at least some kind of textile. And it's my idea that this was once a hair bracelet, that there was tightly woven lock of hair supporting this bracelet.
Around it?
Around it. And this is what we very often find, that of course this is perishable and wears out, and yet a gold clasp remains. And so they string it onto perfectly sensibly a later gold bracelet. But hair, I'm pretty certain that it was, actually.
That's interesting.
It's an idea we're totally at odds with in the 20th century.
It
but
must have been strong hair.
Well, I think it was. I think it really was. Well, good Teutonic hair, you see, that's what we want. But anyway, they're marvellous survival, but oddly enough, having opened your little Pandora's box of jewellery here, it's not the jewellery that you have in the case that's interesting me, but it's the necklace you've got round your neck. Can you take that off?
Yes.
Let's have a really good look.
I thought it belongs to what?
You thought it became part of it?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's not actually part.
Because it's similar. The clasp, if you look at it, it's similar to...
Well, it's decorated again with these tiny granules of gold, which gold is the most mysterious commodity because you can solder granules of the tiniest dust-like proportions to the surface of gold and give it this very interesting texture, and that's been going on since very ancient times. And these have erroneously been called muff chains. They're not muff chains. Because they were long, it was assumed that a muff would hang on it and put your hands through it. And it's quite nice to be able to sort of demolish that terminology once and for all, because they simply are not muff chains. They're simply there for decoration. It dates from about 1840. And it's this one that's really disproportionately valuable, because complicated gold jewellery, not easy to wear in the 20th century. And these two, fascinating as they are, they're worth low hundreds of pounds, say 350, 450 for the clasp alone, and with the bracelet, 500 pounds. But this one, put it down on your little inventory for 2,000 pounds. Surprised?
Yes.
Good.
Well, I remember my father buying it along with a lot of mess silver. He was in the Royal Scots Fusiliers.
Right.
And the regiment was going to India, and my father retired. That was in 1935, I think.
Right.
And he bought this and several other pieces, which I didn't keep. When he died, I sold them because, quite honestly, insurances and everything else was too much.
Yes.
But I've always loved this.
I'm not surprised, actually, because looking at it very quickly, my initial reaction is a spoon warmer.
Absolutely. Then you get a big surprise when you open the lid.
This is it, because now, a money box?
Yes, a swear box on the table.
A swear box?
Yes.
Oh, is that?
And anybody that swore had to put
do you know what
in
they
it.
had to put in?
No, I don't.
Well, I suppose earlier you could have put a sovereign in.
Absolutely, yes.
And that would soon add up.
I don't know what date it is or how old it is, actually.
Well, first of all, of course, it does straight away beg the question, is it original or not? The fact that it is...
This is what I'd like to know. Yes.
Now, and here's another surprise, actually, because normally if you get a spoon warmer of this form, which there are many around, they're electroplated.
Yes. And that's silver.
This is silver.
Yeah.
But there's another surprise, because it's Irish silver.
Really?
So what is the Scottish regiment doing
with an
piece of Irish?
I wouldn't know.
Well, the date of this, here we are, it's Dublin, 1866.
Right.
There has to be a reason for it.
But I know definitely it was the swear box.
Right. And actually the maker there, funny enough, is this mark over here, which is the JS. But we've got the name West appearing underneath there.
Yes.
And this is something they did in Dublin. You would get the maker, as we've got there, and then you'd get the retailer putting his stamp on.
Right.
Little locket, of course, being the money inside, obviously it has to be locked up.
Yes. No key, I'm afraid.
It should be pretty easy to find a key. It'll be a very basic key for that.
Yes.
But interestingly, it's marked also, if you see in the lid there.
Yes.
Now that confirms that the lid is original
Yes.
to the Nautilus shell.
Yes.
It's lovely the way they've done the flush hinge there
Beautiful.
as well.
Yes, I think it's lovely.
Because had this been a spoon warmer, either it would have been left open.
Right.
Some do have lids, but they have a slot cut at the front
Yes.
for the spoon.
Yes.
So this convinces me
That it is a swear box.
that it was made as a swear box.
Yes.
So, fascinating object. I have to say it's a very difficult object to put a value on. Have you got it insured or anything?
Yes, it's in the household insurance. I haven't.
Oh, it's not specified.
No.
I suggest you perhaps insure it for somewhere around 5,000.
Really? Yes.
I bought it 6 years ago in Stowe, and I was a little concerned when I got it home to notice that the drawers seemed to be made out of recycled pieces of timber. And I wondered
Really?
whether it's entirely original.
Let's have a look. I mean, I've seen nice oak lining, but
The underside.
Right. Now I see what you mean.
Well, you should see the second drawer is even more interesting, in as much as it's more brightly coloured.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. The other one?
And very similar.
All right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put this one on top of that one. Well, let me allay your fears first of all. There's nothing wrong with this. These pieces of furniture, particularly in the country, are made on large estates.
Right.
And this was where they would have stored wood that was not used, whether or not it was carved. It was cut for a purpose and then simply not used and kept in the workshop. And then one day, somebody was asked to make a little chest of drawers for one purpose or another. In this case, most likely a house on the estate or a servant's bedroom. And what should we use for the lining? Use some of that old stuff we've got in the corner there. You know, well, it's got carving. That won't matter. No one will see. And so they used these boards, which in this case were made for panelling in a room. And if this was made in 1740, these panels were 150 years old. These panels are 1500, 1550, 16th century. Difficult to be precise. Either Tudor or early Elizabethan. And they are wonderful. I've seen, obviously, pieces of furniture with similar carving on, and I've seen sometimes some decorations, some pigment. We know that they used to paint a lot of furniture in the 1540s through to the 1580s. But never have I seen the pigment protected, as it were. I've never seen it as pure as this. This is like the day it was painted. Here you can see the thickness. It's a sort of tempera. It's a wonderful texture. And that's never really been corroded by anything. It's just never been touched. So these were stacked up for 150 years and then bunged into a little chest. And you can see where they've chamfered the edges off to make it fit. Absolutely stunning. Imagine, you know, a panelled room. These are from a panelled room, I'm sure.
It's not a Tudor rose, is it?
Well, yes.
Almost a stylized.
Yes, absolutely. A stylized Tudor rose, and this is a sort of almost a guilloche moulding, guilloche banding pattern there. I think they are wonderful, wonderful. What do you do now? I mean, sort of put them on the wall, and maybe you should protect. Maybe you just leave them as they are. I don't know. Difficult to keep showing your friends every time they come round.
Yes.
How much did you pay for the chest?
£1,000.
Well, it's worth £1,000. A little fruitwood chest of drawers. I mean, certainly improved on that in 6 years. But these are a bonus. I suppose that panel is worth about £1,000, and that one £1,000.
Surprised me.
It's very exciting, very exciting.
Wow. Say, what a marvellous brooch. My goodness me. Is it a family one?
Yes, it came from my great-grandmother to my mum, to my nana, then my mum, and then it's passed down.
When do you think it was made?
I haven't got a clue.
Come on, have a go.
Great-grandmother, so 18-something?
No, absolutely not 18 at all. This is actually a 20th century brooch, so maybe the story's got a little bit sort of embroidered. And the point about it is that it's a 20th century design. It's a very Art Deco design, a very Odeon style object. And if one looks at it quite carefully, it reminds you of a visit to one of those enormous cinemas with a decoration around the ceiling. What's even more special about it is that the diamonds used in its manufacture are modern cut. And what's frowned upon when you find a jewel like this is to find older cut diamonds that have been used for jewellery in the past included in such an object. And this is absolutely not the case. These long diamonds here we call baguette diamonds, and they're used to great effect to a rather geometrical design that actually in this instance owes its origins a bit to Mexican design. And here in the middle we've got rather a substantial, brilliant cut diamond.
So it is a diamond in...
Oh, it's a diamond.
I didn't think it,
You didn't think it was a diamond? No, goodness, no, it's quite a good thing. Curiously enough, with diamonds, if you want to make an immediate judgment as to whether a diamond is a diamond, it's the imperfections in it that tell you instantly that it is. Deep in the diamond, almost imperceptible without a very strong lens, a black deposit, which is a piece of carbon that's not crystallized. Diamonds are simply crystallized carbon. It's an element expressing itself in this particular way because of intense heat and pressure many millions of years ago. There are some problems with it that I noticed as I turned it over, that it's out of true. Had that damage been more critical, then we would have been in serious trouble, but we're not really. And it needs cleaning and a little bit of adjustment. And you know the direction to which this is all leading, don't you? That this is a really substantially good, valuable object. If there's a chance of putting a name to it, a maker, then that would add to it even more. But you have to brace yourself, strap yourself into the seat, because we've got a really, really good one here. And if you went into a West End shop to buy such an object again, I think it's possible that they would ask you £12,000 for it.
Good God. Dear me, I didn't think it was that bad. We didn't think these were diamonds.
No, well, they are diamonds. They're all diamonds, and you've got a very valuable brooch.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for bringing it.
Thank you very much for doing it.
Thank you.
This wood has been cut with one of those really rough two-man saws, and this panelling has stayed together for 300 years.
Yes.
If a picture's on panel, it makes an enormous difference. You can almost date the picture from the back. And this is a wonderful panel. If every picture tells a tale, please tell me.
Well, some years ago, my father and I, we were refurbishing a room in our Tudor house, and there was a Victorian fireplace which we took out, which revealed a Tudor fireplace, and above that was layers and layers of wallpaper. So we decided to start scraping it off, and...
So this was, the wallpaper was stuck to this?
Yes.
It's obviously a smart 17th century house, and it's wonderful. I mean, the red brick glows. These houses did glow then. It's a fair bet to assume that this is a real house, it's not a fantasy house. And this, I'm sure, is by an English painter, not a Dutch painter. Say about 1700, 1710, 1720. The panelling tells us that, the whole way it's put together. We can trace the history of this sort of painting very easily. And the reason, as you can see, the reason I wanted to show the back of the panelling is there's not a split, barely a split on this panel. And the reason is this is seasoned wood, 20-year-old wood, so it doesn't move. Good lesson for builders today. Wonderful.
Well, it's just one that, to me and my mother, we think that this is out of position compared with the landscape, which looks quite normal. And it seems to me as though that they've put the landscape in, and then as an afterthought, they've put the building.
Well, had you thought that really the landscape that we know today in England is basically an invention of the 18th century? This artist is very happy putting in these abstract shapes. I mean, this is a wonderful abstract painting as well. And this formality of gardens is something that comes from Europe, imposing an architectural statement on the landscape. In fact, in Britain now, because of Capability Brown and Humphrey Repton, we do exactly the opposite. We garden to the landscape. We like to garden as though it's natural. But there's another thing, which is very interesting. You said this picture was over the mantelpiece.
That's right, yes.
One of the interesting things about the fashion of having your house painted was that they replaced portraits. So it was actually exactly where it should have been for the fashion of the day. I think it's wonderful.
Yes.
And I think it's very interesting. I mean, I've never seen such a complete British painting of this period in a way. It's very difficult to price something like this, but I think at least 10 to 15,000. It's a wonderful object.
Thanks very much.
Dear, speechless. I'm speechless.